Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today I want to discuss Celestia and modular blockchains. So Ignas from DeFi Research, he explains in quite a good thread, and so basically he explains what monolithic blockchains are. So prior to Celestia, all these blockchains were monolithic, i.e. the node would do all the tasks simultaneously. So execution, consensus, and data availability. So execution means computation need to upgrade the blockchain to the new state. Consensus provides security and defines a canonical truth about data stored on the blockchain. And data availability is data that the L1 guarantees are available to be referenced, all the data that makes up N. So this, without getting too technical, so this is what a monolithic blockchain is, where a node would actually have to do all these tasks simultaneously, and because of this, it basically comes into this thing called blockchain trilemma. So most blockchains will either have two or three of these attributes. So all blockchains, they basically come somewhere, either there, or there's not any that I can think of that come here. So scalable, secure, and decentralized. So Solana is scalable. It's got a high transaction throughput, TPS, transactions per second, and it's fairly secure, you can call it, and but it's not very decentralized. Bitcoin, Ethereum is decentralized and secure, but it's not very scalable. The transactions per seconds are very low, and it doesn't scale as much, but it's very decentralized and secure. So depending on what application you need to run, you choose the blockchain accordingly. So here we mentioned it. He talks about modular blockchain. So as this is a monolithic blockchain where a node will have to do all the execution, the settlement, and the data availability job itself. What modular blockchains do, they separate into each layer into specialized layer that run everything better. So by doing this, it makes it more efficient and more scalable. So here you can see modular blockchains, and you can see the different projects in different layers. Someone, crypto CEO, he asked, how do you explain modular blockchains, and someone actually put it into chat gpt, and they basically said that basically the chat gpt, I won't read the whole thing, but he basically explained it like a building. Rather than having all the tasks on one floor, you have different floors for each task. How I would like to explain it, I think the easiest way to understand it is, imagine a restaurant. You have one staff member doing the cooking and serving the customers and the cashier. Instead of having one person do all three, you get specialized chef to do the cooking. You get one person, a waiter, to serve the food, and you get another person to do the cashing. So you get three individuals, people, to do a specific job. That's going to be way more efficient than one person doing all three. So in terms of the team is absolutely stacked. One of a very good team that I've seen. They've definitely got previous experience in this field. So you got Mustafa Al Bassam. He's the CEO. He's got a PhD in blockchain scaling at UCL, University College London, and also his previous company Chainspace was acquired by Facebook. Now it's known as Meta, but at that time it was called Facebook. And he was also part of a hacking group, which is an offshoot of Anonymous, and they basically hacked like Fox and some of these other big companies like Sony several times. But their main mission was to, I don't say that to make Mustafa look bad, but their main mission was to tell the public about how the security of these companies that they were giving the details to was very low, and some of them had like even small vulnerabilities like SQL injection, etc. So they wanted to raise awareness about security. So next you have Ismail Kofi. He's basically the he was senior engineer at Tendermint and Interchain Foundation. So Tendermint is the Cosmos consensus. That's another big project in the space, as you guys might have heard of already. John Adler, he's very interesting because he's the CRO of Celestia Labs, but he also part of the Fuel team as well, which is another project in the modular blockchain space. And he's got a very interesting background. He's also creator of Optimistic Rollups, which is one of the leading scaling solution in Ethereum. Then you have Nick White. He's the co-founder of Harmony, which is a sharded blockchain. So you might have heard of Harmony as well. In terms of advisors. You got Morgan Bella. I've never really heard of her, but that's probably because DM didn't take off, or Libra. So she's the co-creator of DM. And then you have Ethan Bookman, who's the co-founder of Tendermint and Cosmos. So he's a very high caliber person, along with Zaki Manine as well. He's a co-creator of IBC and early contributor to Cosmos article by Cheddar News. And also Mustafa has previously wrote a paper with Vitalik on fraud and data availability proofs. So that's quite interesting. And here you can see a video by Ladbabble. I'll post the links in the description, where Mustafa just basically talks about his previous experience. Just bear in mind, this was when he was like very young, when he was like 15, 16 years old, like 2010, 11. So it's quite a while ago. So in terms of the roadmap, they previously released in May Mamaki testnet, and after that they released Arabica and Mocha recently in December. They're not on the incentivized testnet yet, so if you go on the website, there's a let me see if I can find it. They talk about the roadmap briefly. So right now they're on testnet, and in Q1 2023 they're gonna go on incentivized testnet. So in terms of them having a token, etc., I did find that confirmation on the Discord, that they're gonna have a token, and it's gonna be part of the proof of stake. But there is no hard rule about airdrop. So airdrop, just in general, companies don't usually confirm that they're gonna do an airdrop, etc., because people will try to farm it or try to game the system. But generally, it's understood, if you interact with the blockchain, and especially when it's going on incentivized testnet, then you may be eligible. But I'm not gonna go too much into that. That's probably a lot of videos already done, or a lot of threads on Twitter already talked about that. But yeah, so right now you can interact with the blockchain. You can run a light node, and you can also on the testnet. And also when the incentivized testnet comes, I'm sure you'll be able to participate in that. But there's no guarantees of any airdrop happening, so just keep that in mind. So in terms of the raises, so they've so far raised 56.5 million. They first raised a round of 1.5 million seed, and from Binance, etc., and then they raised 55 million by a round led by Bain Capital and Polychain Capital. So this there's some high caliber people. This is a Series A and B round combined, and there's some high caliber investors in there. So I've got some infographics on ICO drops. So these were some of the investors in the first round, and these are investors in their second round. So you got Coinbase Ventures, Polychain, FTX, placeholder. Obviously, we know FTX probably no longer exists. But yeah, Delphi Digital. So very high caliber, good names in their round. So yeah, we spoke about that. And lastly, I just want to talk about, just rounding up, what I think about the project. I think it's quite revolutionary. I think there's going to be a lot of demand when we see it. Just bear in mind, once the token launches on the exchange, just don't FOMO, guys. Just obviously none of this is investment advice anyway, but I see a lot of people, when they get excited about a project, they just market buy on the exchange. Just take a step back, understand the project, look at try to understand what the token does, see the valuation, etc., before you decide to do anything. But yeah, so here I want to just my closing remarks. If you guys heard of Eric Wall, he's quite good. He raises a lot of like skepticism on different projects, etc., and here he basically says how he thinks Celestia is like one of the most innovative technologies after Bitcoin and Ethereum. And then he goes and talks about Zaki, which is we mentioned, he was advisor. He's also part of the Cosmos project and Tendermint, etc. It was in the early days of Cosmos. He does a lot of research. He does a lot of stuff in the blockchain space, actually. So yeah, he talks about how Celestia was the original idea of Ethan and Jay, but and they called it super tanker. But he told them that it wouldn't work until Mustafa invented data availability sampling. So that was one of the core technologies that allows Celestia's technology. So I just find this quite interesting, and I thought I'd share that with you guys. But anyway, guys, so that's my video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.